Hello, hello, my stamping friends. Christine Ludwig here from Christine's Stamping Spot, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in St. Albert, Alberta. And welcome to my Mystery Monday video. Now, I'm posting this actually on Tuesday because I was away on Monday at a leadership meeting in Calgary. So that's why, if you think, well, today's not Monday, but yeah, it's actually Tuesday that I'm recording this and posting it. So just wanted to give you a heads up about that if there's any confusion about the date. So it is Tuesday, August the 11th today. So, oh my gosh, almost halfway through the month. Oh, not sure I'm ready for September yet, but it has been feeling very much like September here the last couple of days. We have more rain today, and yeah, it was just a little bit cooler, and yeah. So hoping we're going to get a beautiful, beautiful fall. So today we are going to take another look at this Framed Violet suite. This was an online exclusive suite that was released in July of this year, and it is still available. And I'm actually doing a class with this coming weekend. So this project is not one of the ones we are doing, but it just gives you another kind of idea of some of the great projects you can do with this suite. So I'm just going to show you quickly some of the pieces to it, and then we'll get into a really fun project that is one of the ones I've tried for the first time. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so these are the stamps, photopolymer stamps, and these are the dies. So you get these beautiful oval, and then some to cut out some images from the stamp set and some standalone dies. So I'm actually going to take these two out because we're going to use these on our project a little bit later. And then another part, of course, is our beautiful designer paper. So it is the Violet Dreams specialty paper. I'm going to show you the actual paper, and then I'll show you the specialty component right after. So you get 10 sheets of double-sided paper, so 2 of 5 designs. So this is the reverse. So it has some beautiful peaceful pine, some fresh freesia with those diagonals are beautiful. Actually, is this fresh freesia? Looks like fresh freesia. But this also look, actually hydrangea hue. That's another color. So I think that's what those stripes were. This little posy, we have some Secret Sea, and then these beautiful stripes. Now on the back side, you have these beautiful violet floral images. So these beautiful little posies here. And then we have some more in the gorgeous grape. And this darker one, which is really nice with the pinks and the grape in there and the peaceful pine. Very striking pattern. And then we have these little posies. And then finally this beautiful sheet, which is probably one of my favorites. Now, the specialty component is you also get 2 sheets of these beautiful cut-aparts, these dies. I shouldn't say cut-aparts because they're actually dies. They just pop out. So you have some beautiful, like ready-made little posies, and then you have some extras that you can create your own little arrangements with, some that you can color with your blends, and then we even have some mats for labels or to stamp on if you're looking for that. So that makes it the 12 full sheets, and that's why it's called specialty, because of these die cut sheets. Now, also in the suite, we have these shimmering stripes paper. You get 4 sheets of this, 12 by 12, and I don't know if you can see the shimmer in that. Can you see those lines that are beautiful and sparkly? So you can ink over top of this. I have done that before. So if you don't want to leave it white, you can just take a blending brush and some ink and you can blend over top and you'll still get that little shimmer peeking through. So that's another fun one. And then, of course, we have some beautiful ribbon as part of the suite, which is a satin ribbon. It's a fresh freesia, beautiful ribbon. And last, we have these cute little embellishments, these adhesive back blooms. So these are really, really cute, and you get 3 different colors of these that you can use on your projects. All right, so that's what makes up the suite. So the card we're going to do today is this one. Now, I don't know if you can see this from an angle, but you can stand this up and it almost looks like a frame standing up. Can you see that in there? So I saw this idea on Judy May Designs. She's a demonstrator in Australia, but there were no instructions on how to put this together, and I was having a little bit of a hard time finding actual dimensions and things, so I made up my own. So we'll see if this comes together, but I thought this was kind of cute. She called it a pop-up window fun fold because you have this window here at the front. Now it lays flat to go into your envelope, but then when you stand it up, it pops up and it looks like your image is kind of recessed in the back, if you can see that. Okay, so let's see how we can put this together. All right, so I will post the measurements on the post here. So I have some pieces ready to go. So we have as our base piece some basic white, and it is cut at 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. Okay, so we're just gonna take our little bone folder, make sure these ends kind of match up here. Sometimes my placement isn't always 100%, but it's pretty close. So that's going to be our base. And then for this pop-up piece that makes the fun fold, it's actually like a Z fold, if you can see that from the top. So we have to create that. So for that, we have another piece of basic white, and this is 6 1/4 by 5 1/2, and we have to do some scoring on each side. So I'm going to bring out my paper trimmer with my scoring blade. Okay, so this is the 6 1/4 side. So we're going to score 2 score lines on the right and 2 on the left. Okay, so maybe let's start with the left and we'll go across. So your first score line is going to be at 3/4. So I'm actually going to measure it over here because it's just easier. You can see this on the camera, I hope. So I'm lining it up at the 3/4 mark using my scoring blade, not my cutting blade. Okay, and then I'm just going to rotate it and score again at 1 1/4. Okay, so 1 1/4. So we will put that one here. Okay, so let's do the other side. So for this one, same measurement. We're going to start with 3/4 of an inch over here. Okay. And then rotate it and do 1 1/4. This is just easier for me to score it this way. I just find the paper a little more sturdy in my trimmer. You could just use the scoreboard if you wanted. So do you see we have these 2 score lines on the left and 2 on the right? Okay, so that's all of the scoring we need to do. All right, so then what you want to do, I'm just debating if I do this first or last. Maybe what we'll do before we fold these, because we have to cut out this large oval here in the center of this piece, right? So we need to cut it through designer paper as well. So I've cut a piece of this pattern of the designer paper. It has the secret C on the back. So I've cut this at 5 1/4 by 3 1/2. Okay. Oh, I'm going to turn it around. I think it was upside down. So I have little posies at the top, the leaves at the bottom. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on first, and then we're going to cut out those ovals from the center, okay? Because we want our paper to lie pretty flat in our die cutting machine. And I think it would be easier by having these score lines just not folded over yet. Okay, so we have this. Now we can also add our end pieces, our designer paper, because if you can see here, we have these little strips going down the side. Okay, so those are on the very outside edges. So why don't we just put those on now too? That might, you know, be a little bit easier before it's all folded into place. So let's just add these, one on the left and one on the right. So let's put this one here on the left. And then we'll do another one here on the right. And then we will do our die cutting. So just make sure your designer paper is all hopefully going the right direction if it is directional. Okay, so we're going to leave a little bit of that. Or are we leaving that white? No, we're not. You know what we're doing? We're actually putting this right to the end. Oh, I have to fix that other piece. Yes, because we want it to show once it's scored. So I'm just going to redo this one. Don't rip on me, please. Oh, I wasn't thinking when I did that. So let me just add a little more adhesive on the ends here. And reposition this so it goes right to the end, right to the edge of this outside flap. Oh, do I have that upside down? Here we go. All right, so we're going to put this right to the very edge here. So we'll be able to see it when our score line is all folded. Okay, so it doesn't get centered on that little panel. Okay, so here we go. We have this strip here, a strip here, and this in the center. So now we need to cut this oval here before we assemble this card. So that's why I brought out these dies, because what I'm going to do is from this piece of paper, I am going to cut out my oval. So I just want, oh, I have to grab a piece of Gorgeous Grape, because we're going to put this here. Oh, I have it already done, so I'm okay. Never mind. What you would do first is you would cut out from a piece of Gorgeous Grape, just a piece of scrap. You would put the small die in the center and the large. And when it cuts out through the die cutting machine, it will cut out the center and this scallop here. So you'll be left with this, okay? So you'll have a purple scallop cut out of your purple cardstock, your grape cardstock, and then you'll have this left. So this is actually what we want to center here. Okay, so I don't need both of these. I just need this die here because I need to cut out the center portion so we'll be able to look through and see our image underneath. Okay, so I'm just going to center this sort of here. And what I can do is put this on already with adhesive so it doesn't slide around. So I'm actually going to put this on with some liquid glue, I think. So when I did my sample, I might have done this in a different order. That's why I got a little confused there. So I apologize. But no, just make sure you have this scalloped oval cut out of Gorgeous Grape cardstock, just a scrap piece, whatever you have that will fit these two ovals nested into each other. Okay, so let's just put a little bit of glue here. And then we're going to center this on our base here. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. And we're going to just kind of center this. I'm just going to eyeball. I want a little bit of that DSP on the left and the right and the top and the bottom. Now I'm going to go a little higher because I want room for a greeting here at the bottom. So I think this might work just fine right here. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a press. Okay, so now we have to cut out this inside oval so we're going to be able to see through. Okay, so this die will fit perfectly inside. So I'm just going to go to my die cutting machine really quick and cut this out. I'll be right back. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Here we go. So if we take this off, we have that oval. Oh, this is part of my, I usually tack it down with a post-it note so it won't slide on me. So we have this cut out. So it's our cards, our designer paper, which is adhered to our basic white. So if you want to use that for another project. And now we have that center point, right, that we're going to be able to see our image through. Great. Okay, so let's go ahead and burnish these score lines. So this one, we want to burnish down, the one closest to the center. Okay, so there's that one. And then this one, we're going to burnish down here. Okay, and then this one, where that designer paper is, we're going to burnish up. Okay, on both sides. So we have that kind of Z right there, right? We're going to do that on this side as well. Let's give it a good burnish so it's nice and crisp. Okay, so now we have our Z fold. Do you see that? With the Z here and the Z here. All right, so I want to give it a little bit of that shimmer in the back. I don't know if you can see that through here. So I've cut a piece of that shimmering stripes paper. So for this, I'm just going to place it just roughly without adhering it down just yet right here. And then I want to lay this on top and see that it's all going to be covered, which it is. So this was cut at, let me see, 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, so like I said, I will post these measurements. Okay, so let's just put this, I'm just going to eyeball it in the center here. Give it a little bit of space, top and bottom, and just eyeball the center. Okay. Now, if you wanted, you could add your image here. But I think what I'm going to do is add it last. So I'll have to finagle a little bit through this oval. But if you're pretty comfortable with putting your image down, what I did was I punched out one of those die cut images. You could also stamp your images here from the stamp set and just color it with your blends and use the die to cut them out. But I thought, you know what, this really gives you a chance to use those die cuts as well. So if you wanted and you're comfortable, you could just sort of place this and eyeball and see if that's where you wanted this to be, which isn't too bad, right? I think I might do mine later. Or should I do it now? I'm not really sure. Just have to make sure I have this in the right place because I'm going to pop this up with some dimensionals. Okay, I think I'm going to put this on first, but you do have that option, okay? So now what we want to do is we want to put some adhesive just on the back of these folded panels here, right on the edge. So you can use glue, you can use your Stampin' Seal, you can use tear and tape, whatever you feel comfortable with. And we want this to hold, so, all right, so make sure you have the part with you where you've left room for the greeting, and you're gonna bring out this panel. So make sure it's going the right direction, opening from the bottom. And then you're gonna adhere this corner and the bottom corner to the top left and the top or bottom right of your card base. Okay, so you just want to line up those corners here and give that a press down. Okay, and then you're going to do the same on the other side. You're going to line up the top corner and the bottom corner to the top and the bottom of your base. Now you can fold this over a bit if you need help with placing it. Okay, so let's put our match up our corners as best we can. And this one here. Okay, and give that a press. And this we're just going to press down a little bit, and it should lie pretty flat. You want to take your bone folder just to make sure you can do that, but it should lie pretty flat, right? So it'll fit in your envelope. And then when you stand it up, this part is going to pop out, and you'll have that sort of frame where you can put your image. Okay, so I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of this image here that I punched out. There are other ones, different colors, so you can pick. Here I have more of a fresh freesia violet. This one I think is more, something more gorgeous grape. No, it's actually the hydrangea hue. So I think there's probably 3 or 4 different colors. I can pull that back and see. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put it inside that oval. And when I'm happy with where it is, I'm just going to give it a press. Okay, so you see that image now through that window. Isn't that neat? And this can pop up a little bit more. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of that ribbon and a greeting. So do I want to put, yeah, let's try this ribbon. If you wanted to use a different ribbon, you could. I do have some of that hydrangea hue ribbon. It's a little bit wider, but let's just use this one. So I'm just going to tie a bow, which is not my strong suit. But we just want, well, not a super huge bow, but just something to add a little something. Okay, so let me cut off these tails. Okay, so if you want to trim those down a little bit more, you can. Okay, so something like that. And then we'll add this with some glue dots on the back. Do any of you have this set? I'd be curious. I just think this is so pretty. My mom had so much luck with African violets, growing them in her house. Oh, they were just beautiful. And she had lots of different colors of them too. She had white and this sort of color and the dark purple. I remember even a dark purple with, I think it had a little bit of a white edging on it, which was beautiful. And I just, not quite the same luck with houseplants like she had. She was just such a green thumb, my mother. Okay, so there's our little bow. And then I went ahead and did the greeting ahead of time. So I used one from the stamp set. I appreciate you. There's also sending love, take care, and a happy birthday to you, which is awesome. And I just stamped that in Gorgeous Grape on basic white, cut it out with a stylish shaped die and mounted it on some Gorgeous Grape cardstock as a bit of a mat. And then I'm going to put this here at the bottom just with regular adhesive down here. Just center that. And last, let's add 1 or 2 of these little blooms. Now I have a lot of purple going on, so maybe I will just add these white ones. Maybe I'll put one up here and another down here. We'll just use white. And there you go. That is your pop-up window card. So when you stand them up, you'll see there's a gap which produces a bit of a window through here. It's kind of a recessed image. And this one has the fresh freesia flowers. That was also one of the cutout die or the punch out dies. Okay, and the Celebrate is from a different stamp set that I had. I can't remember which one, but all right, so there you go. A fun fold, but that's also a pop-up window card. So I hope you'll give that a try. It would probably work with any sort of stamp set, even if you had a fun Christmas one, or a birthday, maybe a birthday cake kind of behind there in the window. There's lots of different ideas and stamps that you could use for this project. But this Violet Sweet, what is the official name? Framed Violets. Framed Violet Suite, I believe it's called. Framed Violet Bundle, yes. So check that out definitely on my online store, and I hope you'll give that a try. Thanks for joining in today, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.